All right. So welcome to another video. In a previous video, we started talking about architectural modeling, and I did outline some points to analyze the project or the model in question, find out things you want to do. If there's any special requests, take note of all those things before you begin to model. All right. And I did mention that the first thing you want to model is your building. All right. So we have the building plan. I will go ahead and model the building walls, the wall structure, and then we're going to cut out our doors and do some stuffs, right? We've gone ahead to understand the building plan, and then we're going to start using the building plan in this video. So I'm going to break this building model into like a couple of videos. So I'll do each floor, maybe one video per floor, so that it doesn't get so lengthy. All right, so it doesn't get so lengthy. All right. The first thing I want to do is first of all to explain something. All right, order is very important in everything we do. All right, order is so important. It makes it easy for people to navigate. It makes it easy for things to work out well. It makes it easy for collaboration. It makes it easy to achieve goals. All right, order is so important. All right, and to that end, I am talking about ordering. At this point, I'm talking about ordering your work file, your structuring your file. All right. So say this is where I do my models. All right. So I just want to I just want this project to be properly arranged. I'm just going to create a new folder and I'll call this building model. All right. Building model. All right. So here we'll have references, and we'll have our references here. We'll have our references, our reference, whichever one. Then we'll have the model themselves and we'll properly name them. All right. So for everything we are using, we are going to create proper labels and names for it. All right. So training video, I'll just go ahead and come to my resource, and for the game plan, I just copy that folder and take it to my model and object, no, building model. I'll just drop down the references. All right. So, all right. So I'm just gonna take what I need, and these are just what I need. So I'll cut that out, and I'll come to my references, and I'll just paste that and delete that folder. All right. So, here I have my architectural plans, and just to reduce the back and forth of going to this place to read the plan and coming back to SketchUp, what I normally do is what I actually normally do is I do convert this, because you can't import PDFs into SketchUp but by plug extensions, and the last one I checked was paid. So you might not want to do that. So I'm just going to quickly go to Google, and I'll look for a tool that can convert PDF to pictures, right? PNG files or JPEGs, because you can easily import that. So I'll just say PDF to JPG. All right, converters, you can find, there are many of them out there, right? So just click on anyone, choose your files. All right, choose your file. I'm just going to locate the model, building model reference. I'm going to locate the PDF, and it's just going to upload that. Couple of seconds. All right, so you could use any converter, right? Just ensure you convert entire pages. Yes, extract image entire pages. All right, so I think this might work. I don't know. Some of them are paid, has paid usage. Some of them are free. Some of them are totally free, right? So let's see this one. If this is free, that's fine. All right, so there are many tools out there on the net that people don't really know of. There are many things that makes your life a lot easy. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and download it all as a zip instead of downloading it one by one. So I'm just going to download it. Then I'm just going to bring out my reference and I'll drag this into my reference. I just drop that there. All right, so I'll extract it to. All right, so I have WinRAR, so you can extract it with whatever way, but I do have WinRAR, so I can extract to small PDF. All right, so that's just going to unpack everything. So that with that, I have my my building plan as pictures. All right. So what that means now is I could come in, all right? I could just come in and, sorry, I could just come in and begin, sorry, on that. I just come in like so and start using them. All right. So what this means now is, all right. So what this means now is, all right. So first of all, I'm just gonna pause here. All right. So I'm just gonna switch to my auto SketchUp. All right. So I actually have two of them. So I don't know. New one seems to be laggy. I don't know. So I'm just gonna switch to the other one, right? So, but that being said, we have our whole thing set up. All right. So, but I noticed that the tools here are slightly different, right? So, coming down to what we are doing, I think I'm done with the internet for now. So I'll just go ahead and turn off my data, right? I don't usually leave that on. All right. So, first thing to do is this is a new scene, 3D architectural millimeters. This is my, all right. That's smooth. All right. So what I will do now is to start from the building plan. All right. So I'll go to the downloaded this thing, and then I'll take on my ground floor, my floor plan, and I'm just going to import that. Right. So first of all, I just want to point out that we don't necessarily need to trace it out. We can scale it up and trace it out, but since you have the dimensions, I would love to use the dimension, right? So one of the things that you can do is you can decide to take this total dimension, right? So for example, now I will do 10,000 by this, what's this? The longer side. This side is the, okay. So I'll do 7270 by 10,000, and it draws out the total shape. So this is like the actual shape, right? So you can see this is 10,000. All right, so what I'll do is let me just rotate this, right? I'll just rotate this to match the paper. And then one of the things you can do is I'll delete the face and I make this a group. Then now that it is a group, yeah, I use this for scaling. All right, so I'm showing you different techniques you can apply. All right, so I will keep this just how it is. I just bring it to this starting point. Then I'll now select this guy and scale him up, right? I'm scaling him up till he can measure up to, here, click on this edge and drag that and put it there, you see? So I still need to scale it up some more. So I'll scale, then the idea is I want to scale the image till I can use the image as a reference point, because I have already drawn the full length, right? I've drawn the full length based on the dimension. So I just want to scale it till it now matches what I drew out. All right. So we see that the full length was 72 by 10. So I can keep scaling it till I achieve it, till this whole thing fits into this rectangle I drew. Or maybe I drew a line. I just keep scaling it till that thing fits into that line. All right. So I'll just move this from this point again to that point. So you can see it's getting close. It's getting close. So this point from here to here is, from here to here is, okay. So this point to this place, right, is what is 7270, right? So I think that's a little bit big. It's already, I think I overscaled it. So I just scale it down a little bit, just a little bit. Now move that. All right, so this is how, I'm very sure there might be an extension out there. So you can see it's almost, just almost that. So I can decide, since I'm not preparing an architectural plan, this is just visualization I'm doing, I could decide to just start putting my guideline and then drawing out my walls and different other things, right? and but I won't do that. I won't do that because I just want you to learn different things. So I wouldn't want you to just learn one way of doing things. So I could just decide to now just start drawing my lines. I just put my this thing guidelines like so, and then I now start drawing out the rectangles for the wall. All right, I could do this. Yeah, I could do that. You could actually do that, but I won't do this here yet. All right. So what I want you to understand is the dimension thing. So I'll go ahead and keeping the size of this. What I'll do is I will place this here, and I'm just gonna rotate that to that point, because what I want to do here is okay. I'm just gonna move this. Sorry, I want to model this thing to scale. All right, so I just brought it in so I don't have to go out. All right, so this is, I'll call it my being. I just get that. All right, so setups, no models, building model. All right, so I'll call this my building plan. All right, so that being said, I can just go ahead now and start taking my dimensions. Right, so I've drawn out the overall shape area. So I'm just going ahead and fill this back. I've drawn out the overall shape, and I'm just going to be looking at it from this angle. So this is my top, and I go down. All right, so given that I scale this down here, you can see that this is almost, so thick walls are 2 to 5, although most of the times you can look here and tell, maybe you can look carefully and tell what is their thick wall dimension and their thin wall dimension. All right, so if I look here, I can see that this point to this point is 150. Yeah, that's what it measured here, 150 from point here to this point to this point is still 150, and this distance here and here is 100, right? So I can still see that their thick wall here, their thick walls from this point to this point, which is the thickness of this point to this point, is 230, not 2 to 5, right? So when I look at that, I can clearly see that, right? So that being said, that means the walls are thick by 2 to 5, 230, and little walls are thick by 150. I just need to keep that in my head while I model. All right, so first thing I want to take note of is that when I did do this total length, it was inclusive of was from this point, which is this end, to this point, which is this end, right? So that end there is talking about Fashiodre guideline. That end there is referencing this point. So that means I need to chamfer this in. So what is the distance from this point to this point? Right. So the distance from this point to this point is 270 millimeters. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and measure that in 270 millimeters. And like so, I'm just going to draw a straight line. And the reason I'm drawing a straight line is because all right, so I'm just going to explode this because I grouped it. I just want to be plain. Now you can see I measured this out because the thickness here only got useful to this point. So I just need to adjust that. So I'm adjusting that the distance from this point to this, okay. So here's one tricky thing about these models. Now this is where you have to learn how to calculate, right? So I want to get the distance from here to here so that I can subtract that from this point. So I just measure from this point to that point, then I can now cut off to the other part. So to now measure this distance from here to here, it's now tricky, right? So always take note of this thing. This thing indicates to you where the label starts, all right? So I could still draw out this, and I'll put my guides so that it enables me to do accurate measurements to trace what I'm doing. All right, so when I look at this, clearly I can tell that this is what I want to measure from this point to this point, right? So if I look at this, I can clearly see that, okay, this dimension, which is 28, is from this very point, yeah, but it's not from this point to this point, but it's from this point to don't mind, it's an image and thickness might not really show you what you need to see, but yeah, that's the line there, right? So right, so you can tell that this point here now. All right, so we have this line. This line is not the same thing as this wall. This wall is here. This is this line. All right, this line is a column line that goes straight through this particular point. So this is the middle. It goes straight through. All right, but that's not our interest. Our interest is this second line. All right, see why I take my time to analyze it so that in the process you can understand how to read a building plan. All right, so you can see this line here now is what I'm interested in, this point. So that means here, this point, that's why I drew this guideline. All right, this point to this point is 150. From this point to this point is 2,400. From this point to this point, 150 from this point to 100. So what I need now is the total length from here to here. I add 150 plus this, I'll get that. So here I'll open my calculator. I'll just run my calculator so that I could do that. All right, so it can be this tedious. All right, so you can use the first method when accuracy is not important, but here accuracy is important. So we'll just go ahead and take our time and do this. Right. All right, so 150, and then that's 2,950. All right, so that means the distance from here to there is 2,950. All right, so that being said, I measure from here 2,950 upwards, and I'll just draw my line from that point to there, and then I can just delete this and that edge right there. Let's delete that. So I noticed that from this point down was 150 here. That thickness of that wall there as 150. The same 150 here, yeah, and 100 again, and then 150 again. Right, so that's what's going on there. So I'm just going to draw that rectangle, draw this rectangle, draw this rectangle, right? Then I'm just going to get and leave. So all right, so that means this part will be just a veranda. So I'm concerned about the walls for now. So the walls is my major concern. All right, so this is an empty void, so that part will still remain. I will leave this shaft. So when I start pulling the walls up, then I would start removing the unnecessary spaces. All right, so but for windows you count it as wall as well, because you have to draw the full wall before you puncture the hole. All right, so that being said, we continue. All right, so this part now, you need to take note that this is 230 all the way. So one of the things I can do is when I come to my plan, I use my insert tool, and since it's wall all the way, I'll just do 230, and it creates an inset of 230 of wall. So I will take note of what part of the building I need to remove the 230 I just measured from. So of course, I don't need to remove this one. And the reason I don't need to remove this one is because I don't need to remove that because of this. There's this 230 going on here. All right, there's that. You see this 230 stuff going on there. It just showing me the wall line. So I'm just going to leave that. I'm going to leave that there. And then the next thing I want to take note of is this wall goes this way, so and comes here. So that means this foyer is a door, it's a wall. All right, this is where the door goes. So anywhere there is door, anywhere there's window, door, window, always put walls there, right? So what I'll do here is for this place I have to measure this thickness from here, because if I look at this point here, so I'll measure this line here, and I'll measure wait, do I need to do the other part? Let me see that. All right, so there's no wall here. All I just need is this part. So let's see, what is the thickness of this veranda? All right, so for the veranda, let's take a look. All right, so that's the dimension from this point to this point, and the veranda is 1,470. You can see that, right? 1,470. So I can just go ahead and measure from this thickness as 1,470, and then I've gotten the veranda. All right, So if I've gotten that veranda, what I'm doing is I will take note of here is I will do 230 and I'll do 230 outwardly so that I can get the thickness of this place. So from here to this point, 230, from here to this point 230. So what this means, I can clean this line. I can clean this line right here. The reason I can clean it because this is a wall. So let me get rid of this. Right. So that's that wall going on there. Right. So you can see my wall going all the way like this. See, that's my wall going all the way like so. So that's that for there. Then the next thing I would you majorly want to just go side 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 side, right? Because you're not doing things by once. So I started from this area, so I keep going like this. So I come this way and I'll keep going like this, right? So from here I can see the thickness from here to this point is 230 for this window, and I'll have to indicate that there, but I'll leave the wall. I won't clean anything. I indicate that there so that it will enable me to cut the hole in the wall later on, right? So that's 238, right? By 1, 2, right? So I will just go back. Sorry, I keep forgetting it's in the same order. I think it's more logistic than, right? Logistics than actually going through. What was 238? 238, okay, inclusive of the starting. So from this point, I measure 238, 380. Then I put my line, use my line tool and draw that down. Then this is 1, 2 for the window. That window that goes all the way up. And I put my line. Then when I come back here, this is 2004, 2140, 2140, and 1, 2 again. All right, so I'll just measure this 2140, then I measure 1, 2 again from that point, 1, 2 again. So I could just rect that, and I've done the outline for the window and this wall here. So this other part, I don't need anything there again. So I just continue from this axis. All right. So the next part here is a window on this side. You see how I've already used an inset to do this whole external walls, right? So if I hadn't done that, I will have to measure thickness of this wall from this place and then use a line to do that. All right. So what you be dynamic with your stuff, right? So from this point here, right? From here, from this point to this point is known as 3590 before the dining window. All right, that seems like a louver window, not louver. Yeah, that's the casement window. All right, so 900, right? So that's 3590. So I just go back and measure 3590 from this tip. All right, always take note of where the dimensions start. 3590. I measure that down, so that means it's this point. Then I measure 900 again for the width of the window. So I just put that and then I draw that. All right, so I just verify 3590. All right, so I'm done with this side. So then now remaining this side, right? For the windows at this side now, I will go ahead and take notes. So from this point, so how do I get this point now? Okay, so if I should take my guide, I put my guide at this point. So from this point to this particular point, right? So that's the 7340, 7340. So I keep forgetting the same file. 7340. So what I will first of all do, I'll clean all these guides in this place to alleviate me of clutter. 7340. So I'll measure 734 and press OK. All right, then I'll put my line there like so. Then this window is 2150. All right, so that's 2150. All right, I measured that and then I put my line there as well. Then I see this is 1236. From here to here is 1236, and then 2150 again. All right, so I just measure 1236, 1236, and then 2150. All right, so you see, we're just going from point to point. We're drawing the floor plan in 3D first of all before we now start push pulling. All right, so making the walls are just as simple as having what we have selected and then we push pull it to give us thickness. All right, to give us a height and depth. All right, so from this point to this place is 760. So that's 760. So if I measure from here to here, 760, and then the window is probably the same 2150, 2150, I think. Is that the same thing? Is it? Is it? Yeah, 2150 window, then 680, then the toilet window, 680. All right. So 2150, then 680, then the toilet window, which is 900. Right. So I just draw that. All right. So immediately after the toilet window, we have a wall. So we'll come to the internal walls. We're just doing the external walls first of all. You can go through it anyhow. There is no one way of doing it, right? So I could have decided to do all the walls from inside and all that. You know, as I'm coming here, I can go here and do this. You can do anyhow you want to go. That's still fine. All right. So that's 900. So from here to here, before this casement window, we have 1055. All right, 1055. So I would just come and measure 1055, then measure 900 for the casement window, and then I just do that and get rid of all that lines, right? Oh, not get rid of my reference. All right, I just group this. I call this ref, so I can hide and unhide it later on. I might even just go ahead and lock it so I don't mistakenly delete it, right? So I could just clean up all these reference lines so I can see that I have my lines drawn, right? So what are the things I'll go ahead to do next? One of the things I'll go ahead to do next is to start the internal walls, right? So we can clearly see from here there's one internal wall coming from this point, right? So how do we locate that internal wall? How do we calculately arrive at that internal wall? All right, so if we look at this, we can see that from the thickness of this wall, this internal room space, that's all have multiple dimensions. Yeah, this internal room space is as thick as from this point to this point is 230, right? Then from this point, right, to the next point, which is this wall here, is 3210. So what that means is that from here to here is 3210 millimeters, right? So take note of that. So oh my god, 3210. All right, so I'll measure that out. 3210. So you are seeing these different dimensions and all that. So I'll just draw a line there, and I'll just draw a thick a guideline of 150 because I know all internal walls are 150, right? So I'll just draw that first. Now that didn't have a definite length. I just drew it out so that I can, measure the rest. All right. So the question now is, I know this part. How about here? Because if I know the room space, I can just go ahead and draw the room space and stuff like that. Then, but before I continue to draw the room space, let me just acquire here as well. That's this place, the distance from here to here as well. So that will enable me to draw this wall, which is 230. Right. So if I look at that same dimension, I can see that from this beginning of this wall here to this point, from this beginning of this wall here to this point is 1 2, right? You can see that that's 1 2 right there. So I just come down and to my model, I just go down by 1200, right? 1200. All right, so you can tell this window rests on this wall. So that's same thing going on here. This is the window and it's resting on that wall, and then this is the line. So if that's 1 2, then I could measure 230 for my wall, and I could just rect it from that point. I just try to line it up with this area so that when I draw this, because this width will cover for everything. All right. So right. When I come here now, how do I now get these dimensions? All right. So from here, what we want to measure, I notice the second row of dimension is the one that gives us the thickness of the wall and thickness of rooms. Right. So this second dimension, I can tell that from here to here is 230. See that line. Then from this point to this point here is 3155. All right, so I just measure my 3155, my this thing 3155, like that, like so. So you can see that means I didn't complete this, right? I'll just go ahead and do this. Now delete that. All right, so that goes all the way through. So that's the inner wall. Then this is 230 for the thickness of that wall right there. That's 230. I don't even need to measure the next one because there's no other wall there. So I measure that 230 and I see where does it start? It starts from this wall and ends on this very wall. So that means I will draw my line from this point to this point, and like that I've gotten all those walls. So what I just need to do now is I just need the dimension from this point to this point so I can deal with my work closet, right? So if I look at this, I clearly look at this. So let's see, how do we get this? So yeah, so this is one thing about stuff that don't have dimensions internally. It becomes really difficult to get some kind of dimension. So for example, now we want to know the distance between here and here. Roughly by scaling it up, we can tell that this will be like around 1600, right? So but if we look here, then we can see something going on here. So from this point, this line, right? So if I just clean, let me get rid of some of these lines here. So from this point here being the center of that line to this point being the center of this wall as well, this wall to this wall, it gives us 17, right? So if that's 17, you can see this is almost having the 150 protruding from it, almost, right? So we can't tell the dimension of that, and we frankly don't need to have it that accurate. So what we'll just do is we'll go back to our model, from here, and I'll just put a line in this middle, and I'll measure 17 there, and then I'll measure 150 from that line. All right, then when I measure 150 from that line, I'll just go ahead and draw this, right, like so. So that way I've gotten that. So I could just get rid of some of these things. All right, so these are the walls. All right, right. So this goes as a wall all the way through. All right, so let me just leave this external part separate. All right, so that being said, you can see these are my walls, and for where there is door, I can go ahead and put a door sign. All right, so I can't tell the thickness of the door from here, but I can see that with this, I'm done with my ground floor. The basic thing is there. So what I just do now is to verify with my building plan by going to the door schedule. I can see what door are in these various locations. So I can see that, you can see from here that the door here, this is window 5 and this is also window 5. I tell that these two doors are door 2, and that means the width of those doors are 900, and the width of this door from here is 800, right? Because this is door 1, this is toilet door. Toilet door is door 1. All right, so if I go back to my model, I could just come and put that into account. So I put this line here and I draw it by 900 out, and I put this line here and draw it by 800 out for that door. So I'll just do this rectangle, then I'll clean this. All right, for doors I usually clean them off. Yeah, I do that, right? So but you could do however you see fit, all right, depending on. So I just clean that off, so I know it's like a passage there, right? So when I'm doing my this thing, when I do my push pull, I will cover the top of the door, but I just want that part to remain open like so, right? So that being said, I think this captures all the walls in the building. That captures all the walls in the building, right? That accounts for all the walls in the building. All right, so there's going to be a space between here and here, so I can go ahead and add that space now if I wish to. All right, let me just go ahead and do that. So it's going to be as thick as this line. So I'm just going to go ahead and ensure that this comes all the way down like so. So I'm just going to do this, and then I'm also going to clean. All right. I'm just going to leave that part like that. And then I'll get that so that it will be full like so. All right. So I've gotten those out of the way. So this is my ground floor. So I'll make a group and call this my ground floor. Ground floor. All right. So the next thing I'll do is to draw that out for the first floor. So I'll draw that out for the first floor. And once I do that for the first floor, then I can go ahead and start push pulling on the next video. All right. So I'm going to quickly in this video do the plan for the first floor. I'm just going to import my PDF for the first floor. Right. I'll just import that quickly, and I love it came in almost the same dimension. Right. So I'm just going to scale that to match, and I'm going to group this and call this ffref. Right. So I'm going to group that and log that. I'm going to come on my outliner and hide the hide this other ref. All right. Wait, what? So, all right. So I'll hide ref one. So I'll unlock this and hide that. I'll unlock this as well and hide it. Then I would, when I hide this, I'll open ref two. All right, that's the first floor reference. All right, so we can see I just wanted it to remain in the same scale axis. So I'm going to go ahead and do this in a speedy way. So I'll hide this, or maybe I'll just duplicate this, right? Usually for another plan, I just do duplicates, right? So I'm going to move this and keep it back at the same spot, then hide one, name the other for first floor, right? So I'm just going to look. There are parts that do remain, but we can see that there are parts that do leave, right? So everything from this side, right, kind of like remains in a way. So if I should go to I should turn off this, I should turn on that. You can see C line goes to the middle for the ref, and for this, it still goes to the same C, right? And you can see the thickness on the top is more than on the bottom, right? So what I can do, right, is just to clear confusion, is I'll just go ahead and I just go ahead and delete all this, right? I'll go ahead and delete all this axis, right? And just leave the other side. So I'll just start from here. So is there a window by this side? There's only the toilet window. So I'm just going to go ahead and scrap all this from this point. All right. So you could decide to start from scratch if you want to. So the total distance from the end to this other end is 7,800 millimeters. So what I'll do is I'll measure from this point to the other side, 8,000 millimeters. All right. Then so what that means is from this point to this very point is where I have interest, right? So I would think what I would do at this point is, since I have that rectangle, let me just start it fresh, right? I have the rectangle drawn. Let me just start everything afresh so that I don't get us confused. Then I'll just do my inside by 230 for the thickness of the wall, right? Then what I'll now do now is I'll now start chipping things out, right? So let's start from this point, right? So I'm going to be fast so that I can wrap up this video in the next 20 minutes. So all right, so 230 done that. So on this part to this part is like 153. So 153 right there. So this is to 1530, right? Then from that point 2150 for that window, that's, I think I should go to 2150, all right? Then the next one is 1236, 1236, 1236, 1236, yeah. Then the next thing is 2150 again. So 2150 again. All right, so then I just go ahead and shell that out real quick, get that out. All right, then for this other side, now 720 from this point to here, 720, then 2150, then 720 again. Yeah, 720, 2150, 720 again, then window 900. All right, so that's from here 720, right? That's 720, right? So that's 720, then 2150, 720 again, 720 again, and then we have 900. So I just go ahead and line that up. All right. So is there another thing in this axis? Well, this is not really making so much sense, but I don't think, wait, they did this as though there is a window here, but that's still a wall. So we're just gonna ignore that. Wait, there's a dimension going on from here. Why is there a dimension here? Okay, that means this is a glass wall. This actually probably is a glass wall, or maybe not, who knows? But from this point to that point that looks like a glass wall is 2570. So let's just put that in. We just add it even if it's not there. 2570. All right, then I'll just line that up from here. So maybe a glass wall that you could, see through the whole thing, right? So but from this point as well, we have 380 to this point, then 12, and then 2140, then 12. All right, so this is 380 from this point. So let me clean that line. 380 from that point, then 12, right? Not 1150, but 1200, 12, then 24, 24, 2400, yeah, 2140, sorry, not bad. Let me clean this. 2140, and then 12 again. Then what else? Then this part is 380, right before the balcony. Then 380, 380. All right, so I could just go ahead and do this, right, just to get those lines out. Then for this balcony area, all right, so that's for that part. For the balcony area, I could from this point, this point now. So let me see. From this point to this door post, from the end of this wall, to the door post that comes out from the corridor is 351, 3510. So I'll just clean this, get rid of that. So 3510 from that point going up should be the door for here. So if I get rid of some of these lines just so I can have space and measure 230 from here, that means this wall will be like this, like so. And 230, yeah, so that means I can now do from here to here 1000, right? And okay, that's from this point, up to 1470 for that whole door area, 1470. So I'll just get rid of this. So 1470. All right, that's for this wall part. because now I'm going into touching this area. So that means this 470 goes span through all the way down across the side, right? So, but then I will have to continue to get in this window. So from that part, I would measure 530 from this point to here to get this window, then 900 for that window, 675. All right, so now we are seeing a new wall thickness. Now this wall thickness here is 75, 75. Right, okay, that's not necessarily new wall thickness. That's still 150 actually. It's just like the middle of that wall is 75, 150 divided by 275. So um so the main point there is from here, from this point to this point is 680, because 75 plus this give us 680. From here to here is 680. All right, so 530, 900, 680. All right, so just take what is relevant to you. Is it 530? Right? Let me ensure that sometimes you can forget that thing. 30, 900, 3900, and then 680, 680, right? So that, with that there, I can come ahead and draw this line from this point, that wall. I'll draw this line again, draw this line again, and draw this line again. All right, so from this place is 2150. That's for that window. All right, I'll draw that line again. All right, so you can see how quickly we are moving. So that's that. Then the next thing now is to get the internal walls. All right, so we've gotten the generic shape, but we know that this balcony doesn't go all the way through. So from this wall throughout the whole balcony, if I can get that, that's from this to this, right? Okay, do I have, okay, okay, I can see from this place to this, the whole balcony width from here is 1700, right? So I could just go ahead and take that into account, 171700. All right, what that means now is the balcony spans from this point, or this is a wall, spans from that point. What that means is this part is not required, because this is where the balcony begins and that's where the balcony ends, right? So that being said, I just did that so that I will have a sense of what I'm doing. All right, so this thickness goes up by 150, right? So this is 150 because I'm taking of a wall there. Then I'll go ahead and draw that line all through, because this is a very long wall. And then for the other side as well, I'll draw that line all through. All right, then where do we cut the holes of the wall? All right, so this wall goes from here, that's why I pass through, and comes up to this point, and begins at this 900 line, like so. Okay, ends after that 900 line. So what I would do here is this wall, since it continues, I would that's a door right there, so I'm just going to go ahead and take this line all the way up, because this is the 900 door 900 window, but it extends even extra 150 as well. So that means I'll draw that to that point, and then I'll get rid of that. So that's where the thing ends, and it goes that way. Right, right. All right. So what else? Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and delete all these guides. It's really getting to confuse me. Okay, that is too far out, right? So this is the window. Yeah, that's why I had to clean that guide. This is the window that is 900. So it's merely after that window that is 150 up. 150, then that means I'll cut this line at this point, and then I'll get rid of all this right here, right? So because I was noticing it was kind of too long, that was longer than I expected, right? So then we have a door there. I'm sure that door is we'll look at the door schedule just to verify, but that's a specific kind of door, right? So that's that for there and here. There's going to be a door here, there's going to be a door here, there's going to be a door here, and there's going to be a door here. But let's get this part out. So from here, this point to this point is 124, 124. So what that means is wow, we haven't even drawn that line. And that line is let's see, from this wall, from this wall I drew here to the next wall beginning is 1495. 1495. So I'll measure from here to here is 1495. All right. Then measure 150 because that's the thickness of that wall. Then I'm just going to cut it through all the way down. Right. Cut it through all the way down. Then from here is 1240. All right. So that's sorry about the audio loss there. So from here now that's 1240. Sorry. 1240 from that wall, right? From that wall, from this point to this point. So that's 1240. Then going up, you can see this is still the same line, right? If you pay attention there, you see that this is still the same line going up all the way, goes all the way through, right? Goes all the way through. So I'm just going to go ahead and from here, I'll just put this line, and I'll draw it all the way through. Right, then I drew it all the way through so I can start puncturing holes through it. Right, so here we'll go through because there's a dot there. No, there's no dot there actually. So the next two sides will have door. So but for those two sides, we have this going 1240, and I think one two. Okay, I didn't measure that 140. So 1240, and then another 150 for the thickness of that wall. So you can see that going on right there. So with this now, you can begin to see some interesting things going on, right? I see some interesting things going on. So before I finish getting rid of this, so this is an open space, right? Then there's a door here, right? So let me just go ahead and get rid of this, and then right. So the door is here, the door is here, the door is here. There's a door here, right? So let's quickly confirm the door sizes from the schedule. So I'll go back to my window schedule for first floor. I'll completely look at my window schedule for first floor. So for this first floor, I can tell that this is door one, so that means it'll be 800 in width. Then this part here is door two. This is door one because it's toilets. All the toilets are door one, and this door two, this door two. Alright, door two is 900, door one is 800, right? So coming back to my model, so this is door two, the entrance door to the room. So that's 900. I measure 900 for the wall. Then I would just do that right there and clean that, right? Remember I said for the doors, I just cut it through, right? Open up the hole so I know that's a passage, right? So from here as well, I go up by 900 because that's door two into the master bedroom. I just cut that hole there, and this is 800 for that, and then I just go ahead and cut that through as well. All right, so with that, I can go ahead. You notice how I ensure that my walls are flow. That's the flow all through. I just usually ensure this because it enables me to easily do the stuff I do. All right, so this is a full wall. Here is going to be a door. All right, so this is a wall that flows. All right, let the wall flow. Let the walls flow. Let them flow like water. Right, so this part we say something like balcony there. Here, let it flow. Right. So like that, we are basically done with the general shape of the building, right? We're done with the general shape of the building. I think the only other thing we might just need to do is to indicate this landing space. Yeah, we need to indicate that void. So let's look at that as well. So we can tell that, right? So let's see, how do we get this void space? So that void starts from this point, right? So let's see, is there a dimension on that point? There is no actual dimension there. So we're just going to assume, right? So this whole place is going to be a void. It's going to be a void, and the stair landing will be 1 2 from here. So that means I've just take the nearest dimension. That means from this center part, from the center of this wall to this nearest point, this point that is close to that. So I'll just stop my void there. That's 2 8, right? That's 2 8. So, so from the center point, this should be the center point there. I measure 2 8. I'm just getting something approximate, right? So I measure 2 8 and I'll just draw a line to this point, right? So I can decide to delete this because it's a void, right? Then from this point down is 1 2, right? Then if you look at the staircase, it's 900 millimeters thick. That's wide, yeah. So I just measure 900 and then I'll just use the rectangle and get rid of this as well. So that means this place will be totally empty. The staircase will come from here like this and end on this landing right there. So with that, I have my first floor plan done. Right. So in the next video, we'll go ahead to start making this 3D, and would sorry about that. So we'll go ahead and make it 3D. Then from there, we'll now go ahead to begin to fix our stuff. All right. So let me just quickly clean up this model as well. Make that flow. Right. So there's a door here. Actually, my bad. There's a door here that starts from. Let's see the schedule for that ground floor. My bad. So much. Sorry about that. So that's door 3, and that is the total. It goes with the total length of that place. So I'm just gonna get ahead and select this and get rid of that. All right. So that's the total length of that door. So I'm just gonna put one line or two, just indicate that that's an exit door. All right. So I think I've captured everything, and that flows. I left down this. Okay, this is the wall as well. It should flow. All right, that's all. All right, so thank you so much. Sorry about the length of the video. We just have to capture these things in detail. All right, so in the next video, we'll begin to push pull the walls and make the walls look 3D, and we'll continue from there. So let me save that. If you like the video, please do hit the like button. Right, hit the like button, subscribe, and thank you. Catch you in the next one.